Today we have a special guest to talk about air and fuel delivery on everything from street machines to the fastest naturally aspirated race cars that he's extremely familiar with. It's Jason Line from the extremely successful Summit Racing sponsored team of KB Racing.
You may already know it, but I worked with Jason at KB Racing building NHR8 Pro Stock engines, and we had a lot of fun doing testing and development. And some of that technology will actually trickle down into street machines and high-performance vehicles that we all like to drive. And Jason, I brought you something that's near and dear to your heart here.
Yeah, one of my favorite relics of all time, the Quadrajet. So, you know, carburetors have come a long ways. You can now buy, street carburetors with CNC billet metering blocks, all the way up to, full race dominators. So they've come a long ways for sure, and it's definitely better. And that stuff does transfer down to all the parts you buy from Summit.
Is it from the machining process? Is it from materials? What's it from?
It's all those things. You know, racers are pretty crafty folks, and they come up with a lot of really cool things, and it all transfers.
Jason, 10 years ago you would buy a box carburetor and have to send it out to get it to perform right. What's changed over those years?
Well, certainly the folks that manufacture carburetors have gotten much better at getting a calibration that's correct right out of the box. You can actually bolt them on now, and I've done it myself, and have them run good right out of the box.
Let's talk about intake manifolds. Nowadays it's easier to make power with bolt-together stuff.
Yeah, it's way easier. You know, years ago to make a 1,000 horsepower engine, that was quite a task. Now you can buy every single part from Summit, bolt it together, and make 1,000 horse. You know, the manifolds and cylinder heads, every single part of the engine has gotten so much better with new technology, and it's all race-driven technology. So it's also much harder to improve on them.
And your job is to improve on things. From the street standpoint, all the technology that trickles down, that's one thing, because racing is so fast moving and the technology moves so fast, you still have a few secrets that you want to keep.
It does move faster because obviously we're not under the constraints of drivability or emissions or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, we like to keep as many secrets as we possibly can. It's harder to do in today's world, but we'd like to keep them for a certain amount of time before we're willing to pass that information on.
Now, Jason, how much time actually goes into your testing and development compared to when you're at the track racing?
Well, obviously the development starts at the shop, and our time is certainly best served at the shop. You have to prove it out there first, and see that it's viable and it's going to make power, and then go to the racetrack and try to do the same thing. Make sure it's making the same power that you were capable of making there at the dyno. Now, Jason, do you guys do any testing on the chassis dyno and the engine dyno, or how does it work? Well, lots on the engine dyno, of course, but we use the asphalt dyno a lot as well.
Out at the track.
Out at the track.
Well, thank you for coming in. We always enjoy hearing your insight.
Anytime.